And I think in banking we have got a problem, because some things are called Sharia compliant, but ethically, sometimes the banks charge more than the commercial banks. So, true, we have a problem because of this narrow understanding of Sharia. I think we need to go back to the comprehensive view.
Okay, thank you. So please, then after this, Shukri.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you? Just one question about the last point that you just made. Even if we have a broader, a more comprehensive understanding of Sharia, you said in Islam, ethics is in fact in the law.
Yes.
The problem is, let me give you an example, even in the way we are dealing with what you are saying, as you know, not everything which has to do with adab al-tabib, for example, is going to be connected with law. There are informal things that they are not legal. I give you another example. In the way we treat, for example, animals, in the halal meat, we know what is halal. By law, this is it. But now the way we are going to deal with the animals alive cannot be under the law. There is a field, there is an area where it's not legal, but it should be ethical. For example, half of the animals that are sent in some countries just to get a halal slaughtering are dying while they are traveling.
Yes, they don't care about them.
They don't care about them. This is unethical.
Yes.
And at the end, what is going to be eaten is halal.
Yes.
In legal terms. So there is an area where it's not legal still, and we need to deal with this in Islamic terms. How do we deal with this? When you say it's all legal, not everything is going to be legal in the way we deal with the environment, with animals.
Jazakallah khair. It's a very good question, and I think I should have clarified this at the beginning. Usually I do, but I forgot. Now, Sharia or Islamic law has got a public and a private component. And I think the private component is bigger. I mean, the public one, in which you break the law, you get punished, you know, is the smaller part. And this requires government intervention. But the private one, the Sharia requires you to do this, to be kind to the animal, be kind to your children. This is part of the law, but it is a private one. It's not enforced by any external authority. So I think still is within the ambit of the Sharia, but it's you, the individual, not to mistreat the animal, to treat it very well. There are many things that we do, nobody will ever catch us. So it's actually very dangerous. If Muslims say Sharia is this, and there are these other things that, you know, are outside, it means if we do something that the government cannot catch us and punish us, we are going to do it. But if you know that, oh, I'm breaking the Sharia. I have got a cat, I did not feed it. I am taking this camel to market to sell it, but I have not given it water. If you know you're breaking the Sharia, it makes a difference. So I think I still maintain that all ethics can come under the ambit of the Sharia, but the private part of the Sharia, not enforceable by a government authority.
Yes. Okay. Shukri.
My point here is that ethically we are not going to violate the time, because it's not to violate our lunch, otherwise it will be affected our final prayer. Well, I'm from Thailand, working in Yala Islamic University, which will be changed the name to Fahad University, but now I'm working in Jinan University in China. My point here, when you are talking, most presenters, keynote speakers are talking about principles, both in sources and also in practical bioethics fieldworks. So my point is, when it comes to limitations of the practice, for example, when we have contextual limitations or even textual limitation when it comes to countries where Muslim are minorities, like Thailand, Philippines, and some other countries. Sometimes, you know, what are the criteria of doing such things? Because mostly our students who are studying from the Islamic, so-called Islamic comprehensive universities, they are not taught by their professors that when you go back for that kind of context, you have to use another criteria of applying those kind of things. So that's why sometimes students are studying political science or some kind of Sharia things. When you go to minority contextual frameworks, they are trying to just to make jihad, and finally what they are going for is for independence, for example. So in this kind of regard, when it comes to limitations, what will be criteria? Both sources of Islamic understanding and also for the applications of this kind of ethics. Now I see another minute is that you can see that a lot of Middle East patients going to Bangkok for their medical treatments. Buddhist doctors, Buddhist nurses offering Buddhist universal services for Muslim patients coming from the Middle East. Is it because of ethical universal paradigms of their treatments, or is it because of what? Why they are not going to Muslim countries to get this kind of treatments? Or I just would like to understand how Islamic ethics, when it comes to medical services, is it only the way that you treat the patients, or is it more than that? I don't understand that because from political science backgrounds, I don't have this kind of understanding quite well. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah kulla khair. Very good question. Actually, the Islamic theory and the Islamic principles of ethics that I'm trying to formulate and teach and disseminate, these are universal values. If I go to Tokyo now and repeat this talk without mentioning the word Islam, they will say it's a good talk because the values are universal. But if I say maqasid sharia, if I finish the talk and say, you know what, that first slide I forgot, I should have put maqasid sharia, and then we shall have a fight with them. So many of these values are universal, and let me share with you, one of the biggest philosophical problems I have today is that I find the Western people, they practice our values more than we do. Yes. Whatever is the problem in the West, but if you look at Islamic values, Western countries are much better than Muslim countries. I lived in America 15 years. I don't remember somebody told me a lie. In our own countries, every day I get 10. Fulfilling promises, being kind to the weak, to the women, to the children, justice. A poor man can go to court and get help. They give him a free lawyer. So these values, don't say it is our values. These are universal values. And what is happening, some other people, maybe Buddhists, maybe Westerners, when they adopt them, actually they become stronger. They control us. So our issue is we need to recover our values. Let's just get them back to us, because we lost a lot of them. But none of what I said here, if I remove the word Islam, in London, in Washington, they'll be very happy. This is very sensible. Yeah. And actually, many times they tell me this is more sensible than the principles that we're using because it's more robust, more consistent. Problem is, you say Islamic, then trouble begins.
Okay, we have 8 minutes left, so please, maybe among the ladies.
You mentioned about the maqasid al-sharia, just that. But usually, no, I have heard about 6 maqasid al-sharia, no more 5. That is hifdul bi'ah.
Hifdul bi'ah now has been declared already. I think it's more than what Ash-Shatibi has in his books Al-Muwafaqat. Now, what do you think about that? Hifdul bi'ah, that's another new maqasid al-sharia. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, Jazakallah kulla khair. Actually, the maqasid, people have mentioned more. Hamad al-Raisuni, there is a Sheikh, this Moroccan, I forgot that. We've published many books in Triple IT on maqasid by many authors. Al-Raisuni. Yeah, we've published many books. Actually, people mention more than 5 maqasid. Me, I stick to the 5 because Abu Ishaq al-Shatibi, I think he was a scientist. I mean, the way he writes, you know, we scientists have got a very precise mind. Very precise, very logical. His book, of all the books, is the one that I find very natural.
But not environmentalist.
Eh?
Not
Okay. So it can be more, can be less. But I have always tried to find something outside the five. I have never succeeded. So environment is to protect our life. If our environment is destroyed, our life is in danger. So environment is under hifz al-nafs, is in my thinking. But it is possible to have more, to have less. Yeah, possible. But I think this cannot be an independent one. And it is part, as Prof. Tariq said, we're trying to respond to the West. Today, environment is the big issue in the West.
Yes.
We must find something for it in Islam. Tomorrow, animal rights, we need to find something. Me, since a long time ago, I stopped using this. I just say, let us develop our own. Develop our own systems, our own ideas, and apply them. We don't have always to respond to the challenges. Develop what we have already, because a lot of it is not yet developed.
We have our own problems.
We have our own problems.
Okay.
good akhlaq.
Who else?
I think
Okay. Azhar and maybe you. Amin.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, I think it's a good idea also to list some quotation and phrases based on Islamic Sunnah and jurisprudence or usul fiqh, so that everybody know, like ridwan nasi ghayatun la tudrak. Other things is well, like we just mentioned just now, la ta'ata li makhluqin fi ma'siyatil khaliq. These things are a kind of hindrances to something that violates the universal values or Islamic teachings. I think this is a good idea to list some of the phrases, quotation based on Sunnah and Sharia. Well,
yeah. This is a very good suggestion. Actually, I have written somewhere else about the historical development of Islamic medical, legal, ethical issues. For about 300 years, 350 years, we could derive anything dealing with medical ethics from the nusus directly, from Quran and Sunnah. But starting about 70 years ago, medical technology came up with new problems. Test tube babies, transplantation, genetic manipulation. You cannot derive them directly from the nusus. So, for a period of about 20 years, we've been using qiyas. It's a new issue, but we could find an illah for it in a hukum. That was a long time ago. But since about 20 years ago, even qiyas broke down because medical technology now is coming up with very complicated things. That is what ijtihad maqasidi is now the thing that we use. It gives us the broad framework within which to think and make ijtihad. It's very difficult to go back to the nusus. But these maqasid al-sharia and qawaid al-sharia were derived from the nusus. You know, each one of them, you have a nafs behind it. So since they're from the nusus, I think we can use them. But at the moment, many medical problems, going back to the nafs is very difficult to find a solution. Yeah, we have no choice.
Okay, I think the last.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is very interesting topic to be discussed. I just want to highlight one question. Since now we are very narrow down and very specialized with our own area, but how to overcome for example, it's very hard to make the ulama to understand what is going on in science perspective, and very hard also that we as a scientist want to judge whether it's halal or wrong. I need your opinion. Thank you.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair. I think for the past, since about 1970, actually, 1957 in Malaysia, Dr. Professor Najib Al-Attas first talked about this issue of knowledge and Islamization. It has been growing, but we no longer want to use that word because it has become a bad word in the Western media. The solution is actually to reform knowledge, all disciplines of knowledge, so that they can incorporate the Islamic epistemology and Islamic philosophy of knowledge within them. What does that mean? It means that experts in various fields of science need to study some Islamic methodological subjects so that they can incorporate them within their field, like I'm doing here with medicine. Also with the ulama, as Prof. Tariq said, they should specialize. The ulama also should take some of the sciences so that they understand the modern world. At the International Islamic University in Malaysia, I think we have achieved this by requiring our students to have a double major. If you take psychology, you must take an Islamic subject. If you are taking Islamic subjects, you must take something in the social sciences. So we need somehow in the education system of our scientists and of our ulama to have a combination so they can put things together. Otherwise, at the moment, it is a dichotomy. Those are in one valley making fatwa, and these with ties are in one valley also saying their thing, and nobody understands anybody else. Yeah.
Okay, well, actually, the time is over now. And, thank you for your coming and for your really interesting presentation. And well, we'll give you applause, please.
Yeah, I left you the PowerPoint here.
Okay.
If people want, because there are many things I didn't say, but the details are on the system, inshallah.
Okay, thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you to both Professor Dr. Omar Kasule for sharing with us his special address on medical ethics and Islamic perspective, and Associate Professor